If you believe even one of these Halloween decorating myths, you're probably making your yard worse, not better. And the worst part about it is most people don't even realize they're doing it. Every Halloween season, I hear the same advice repeated over and over again, online, in stores, and even from well meaning friends. But a lot of what people believe about Halloween yard displays is based on myths and not what actually makes a display look good. So today, I'm breaking down the 5 Halloween yard display myths and most importantly, what actually works. Before we get into the video, make sure you go hit that subscribe button right now, hit the notification bell so that you get notified whenever we release new videos so that we can keep bringing you the content that you enjoy. Now onto the video. The first myth is that adding more props equals a better yard. This is probably the biggest myth of all. People believe that if they just keep adding props, that's going to make their yard better. And what happens is the yard starts to feel cluttered. It's chaotic, right? And it's tough for the viewer to actually get a read on what's going on. If everything is kind of there and everything looks like it's important, then at the day nothing's important, right? And a few well placed props can mean the difference between a bad yard and a good yard, right? If you have a well placed prop with good spacing around it, it's gonna look a lot better than a yard that's just packed wall to wall with props. The second myth is that bigger animatronics equals scarier, right? Um, big animatronics are impressive, right? But impressive doesn't mean scary. And without the right lighting and context, even the biggest props you have can just feel like store displays, right? And what where scary comes from is the atmosphere, shadows that you create with your lighting, right? The anticipation of what's going to happen next, what resides within your scene. And it's not all about the size, contrary to popular belief. The third myth is that everything needs to move, right? Movement is powerful when it's used correctly, right? If everything's moving around, then nothing stands out, right? It kind of goes back to the first myth of if everything feels important, then nothing feels important, right? Same logic here. If everything's moving, you're not going to notice everything. And the static props are what creates the tension, right? It makes people wonder what's going to move next, or is this going to move? That sort of thing. Uh, it builds that suspense that really makes yards truly impactful to the viewer. Myth number 4 is that bright lights help people see better. Now, in reality, that may be true, right? But in our line of work, that's not really beneficial. The bright white lights remove shadows, right? And in this business, shadows are your friend. It's one of the fastest ways that you can just kill the atmosphere, right? You got a bright light, you really kill the mood of what you're trying to do. It flattens everything out, and it doesn't look good, right? The darkness, the contrast, selective lighting, that's what makes Halloween yards top tier. Myth number 5 is that you need a large budget to create a good Halloween yard display. Um, Budget doesn't create creativity, right? It's the constraints that do. Some of the best yards I've ever seen came from years and years of planning and addition and subtraction, and they did it with intent. That is the key. You have to do everything for a reason, and it doesn't matter if you do everything right now. It's what you build on. It's year after year of learning and understanding your craft to know what works and what doesn't. And the planning will beat spending every single day of the week. So at the end of the day, planning is one of the most important things when you're building your yard haunt, not your budget. If you stop believing these myths and start focusing on the mood, story, and the intention, your Halloween yard will instantly improve. It's not about having more, it's about using what you have better. Thanks for watching From Foam to Fright. If you enjoyed watching, make sure you go and like the video, share it with your friends, and leave a comment below of maybe one of the myths that you find yourself falling into, or one of the myths that is your biggest pet peeve when you go and see other yard haunts. But until next time, it doesn't matter what you make as long as you go make something. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.